Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Integrated Physics Studies IPS. एथरे मु ऑलरेडी प्लस 2 सेकंड ईयर सिलेबस कंप्लीट कर सारछि एबे मु प्लस 3 सीबीसीएस ऑनलाइन क्लासेस रो वीडियोज गुडा अपलोड करिवि जदि भल लागिला ताले लाइक कर देबो एवं सब्सक्राइब कर देबो जो वीडियोज गुडा मु अपलोड करिवि तार नोटिफिकेशन पई एठी बेल आइकन को ऑल रे सेट कर देबो गोटे इंपोर्टेंट जिंस वीडियोज रो ऊपर एठी जो 3 डॉट्स देखुछो तार क्वालिटी एठी देखो बाय डिफॉल्ट 360 अछि तमे ताकू पढे मध्ये परिबो एठी एडवांस रे क्लिक करी तमे रिजोल्यूशन बढ़े परिबो प्रति वीडियोज रे मु पीडीएफ लिंक देबी ताकू एठी ड्रॉप डाउन लिस्ट रो तमे क्लिक करी डाउनलोड मध्ये करि परिबो पीडीएफ को लास्ट रे एठी जो मोर चैनल नेम अछि याकू क्लिक करी तमे एठी प्ले लिस्ट को जाई मु प्रति वीडियोज को यूनिट वाइज एज पर सिलेबस सजाई की रखिथिबी तमे सर्च करि परिबो ओके थैंक यू हेलो स्टूडेंट्स आज हमें गोटे नुआ यूनिट स्टार्ट करिबा द सिंथेसिस ऑफ नानो मटेरियल्स. So today we will read about its basic introduction. So there are various techniques for the synthesis of nanostructure materials and or nanoparticles. Okay, so out of these the methods which are broadly classified into actually two categories. Number one is top down method and number two is the bottom up methods. Okay, so these two methods we'll discuss in the upcoming classes. So basic synthesis methods actually, if you see, it will be divided into three classes. Number one, the physical methods, then number two, chemical methods, and number three, biological methods. Okay, let us try to understand these three methods in the figure. Okay, so you can see in this figure, which is the methods for synthesis of your nanoparticles or nanostructure materials. So on the top we have the synthesis can be classified into two categories. As I said, the number one is top down method, number two is bottom up method. Remember, top down means reaching from bigger size material, that is your bulk material, to nano particles, and bottom up means reaching from atomic structures to again your nanoparticles. Okay, then there is the three methods. Okay, so physical methods, here you can see the nanoparticles actually may be synthesized using a number of physical methods which are listed here, like the arc discharge method, then electron beam lithography, then mechanical grinding, then inert gas condensation, ion implantation, ball milling, spray pyrolysis, then vapor phase synthesis. Okay, and these methods are of two types. Okay, mechanical type and vapor deposition type. Okay, so these methods work at high temperature, and the highest working temperature are actually usually greater than your 350 degree Celsius. Okay, then come to the second one, which is the chemical methods. So these are actually simple and inexpensive methods for synthesizing the nanoparticles, right? And these include the co-precipitation method, then microemulsion method, electrochemical, which is the electrolysis method, then chemical reduction of metal salts, pyrolysis, phytochemical, that is the irradiation method, solvothermal synthesis, sol gel process, and sonochemical method. So for these chemical methods, actually the highest working temperature are usually below 350 degree Celsius, right? And here large quantities of material can be produced with variety of sizes and shapes of particles. Okay, so here as we can see, there are number of chemical methods which are possible as listed. Okay, then come to the third one, which is the biological methods. So from the name, as it is suggesting here, this biological method actually is based on the use of microorganisms like that of your fungi, then yeast, then bacteria, right? Also we have actinomycetes, right? Also, we can take the plant extracts, okay, and enzymes. Also, we can use the templates such as DNA, that is the deoxyribonucleic acids, then viruses and membranes, etc. Okay, and this type of synthesis is actually environment friendly. Okay, so this is an advantage, and also it will have less toxic effect. Okay, it will be least toxic, and therefore it is called green synthesis. Okay, and various green methods for synthesis of nanoparticles are listed here. Okay, as I said, you can use algae, then enzymes and biomolecules, and also we can use the industrial and agricultural waste. Okay, so these are the different types of synthesis methods, okay, which are broadly classified into three categories. Now let us see what are the factors, okay, what are the factors which are actually affecting the synthesis of nanoparticles. Okay, so there are various factors which must be taken into consideration while synthesizing and characterizing the nanoparticles, okay, which are briefly discussed as follows. So number one is your temperature. So it is a very important parameter that affects the synthesis of nanoparticles using the physical, chemical or biological methods. So in physical methods, as we are studying, the highest working temperature which is required is above 350 degrees Celsius, and for chemical methods the temperature which is required is less than 350 degree Celsius. But however, in the third case, that is the biological methods, the synthesis of nanoparticles require either ambient temperature or a temperature of less than 100 degree Celsius. Okay, so the temperature of the reaction medium determines the nature of the nanoparticle which will be formed. Okay, then number two is your pressure. So pressure, as we know, it is another important parameter for the synthesis of nanoparticles, and the pressure which is applied to the reaction medium will affect the shape and size of the nanoparticles which will be synthesized, right? Then come to the third one, which is time. So here the quality and type of nanoparticle which will be synthesized depend upon the length of the time, that is the time duration. Okay, so the reaction medium which is incubated, how much time it is taking. Okay, so this will affect the quality and type of the nanoparticle which will be synthesized. Okay, number 4 is the particle size and shape. So here particle size is a very important factor in determining the properties of the nanoparticles. For example, suppose we take the melting point of nanoparticles which is decreasing with the decrease in the size of particles. Okay, so here the color of the emitted light also changes with the nanoparticle size. So the shape of nanoparticles influence the chemical properties. Okay, so capping agents, that is the polyvinyl pyrrolidine, okay, these are used to stop the overgrowth of nanoparticles in colloidal synthesis of particles. Okay, so next one is the cost of preparation. Okay, so as we know, the synthesis of nanoparticle, obviously it will take some cost. Okay, so this cost of the synthesization of nanoparticles or nanomaterials is a very important point which decides the potential application of these materials. Okay, so the cost of synthesis actually needs to be regulated and controlled, and method of synthesis should be very much cost effective so as to be useful for mass production. Okay, we cannot afford for highly costly synthesization methods. Okay, and for also potential application it can be used if we reduce the cost, right? Suppose we take the chemical methods. Okay, though they have high yield, okay, they can result in more number of synthesization, but they are also cheaper than your physical methods. But there is a point that the chemical methods are not very cost effective. Okay, physical methods are very costly, but however, if we take the third one, that is the biological method, so here in this case the synthesis of nano materials will be less costly. Okay, and therefore it is very much useful for large scale production of nanoparticles. Okay, next point is the pore size. So here pore means, you know, that these are actually very small minute opening in the surfaces of materials through which the teeny microscopic particles can pass through. Okay, so here the quality and application of nanoparticles are very much influenced by the porosity parameter of the nanoparticles which are being synthesized. So this parameter is very important when the nanoparticles are used in the drug delivery system, that is, for example, in the treatment of cancerous cells. Okay, so in this treatment we are targeting only the cancer affected area by using the drug delivery system, that is the nanoparticle. Okay, so if they are having a very good porosity parameter, then it can pass through that pores and it can affect only the cancer affected area. Okay, then next point is the pH value. Okay, we know that pH value will decide whether a material or a substance is acidic or basic or neutral. So this is a very important factor for the synthesis of nanoparticles by chemical and biological methods. And it has been observed that the pH of the solution medium affects the size and texture of the synthesized nanoparticles. Okay, so the size of the nanoparticle can be controlled by varying the pH of the solution, which will be used for the synthesis of your nanoparticles. Then finally the environment. Okay, so the nature of the nanoparticles which are being synthesized is very much affected by the surrounding environment. Okay, so suppose in case of biological synthesis, here the nanoparticles will form a coating that makes them thicker and larger in size. Okay, and here the environment also influence the physical structure and chemistry of the synthesized nanoparticles. Okay, now besides above discussed factors which you have studied above, 8 numbers of factors, there are also certain other parameters or factors which can greatly influence the nature of nanoparticles which are being synthesized. Okay, so this is all about the basic introduction of synthesis of nanomaterials or nanoparticles.
Thank you.